Last time on Dragon Ball Z, I cut my thumb real fucking bad on this Chimera. Now that said, it's mostly better. I don't know if you can see this, but I also talked to Jerry a little bit. Well, not a little bit. I talked to Jerry a lot for the podcast. And I learned some things about the Chimera. I will still do a full review, but this is my like second impressions because I fucking hurt myself. Couldn't flip anything. But yeah, these are G10 liners with titanium scales. Um, and apparently the V1 had like a counterbalance, but he discontinued that because most people just take off the latches. I, however, would be the kind of person that would keep the latch on and want it to be balanced because there is a slight weight difference with the latch on versus the latch off. But let's do more flipping. It feels slightly wobbly with the latch on, like minorly handle bias. And yeah, it feels a little bit more neutral from this side. What the heck? I feel like I'm hearing something that I shouldn't be hearing. Is it just the latch? Sorry. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. All right, it's just the latch. So yeah, it feels a little bit neutraler without the latch, unsurprisingly. There's no jimping on this. It is a sandwich-ish design. Yeah, that's a spacer. It's a sandwich design. And I don't know. I really like this design. I think the Chimera is really cool and clever and has great features. I wish there was a little bit of jimping on the spacer that would help a little bit on sandwiches. Or on sandwiches. On the word I'm thinking of is ladders. I think this probably flips really well without the latch on. Um, and I do like it a lot. It's quite long too. I remember I was gonna get a longer knife to compare it to, and then I didn't remember. But here's the Chab, or not a Chab, just the Alpha Beast. The Alpha Beast with zippy spacers is still shorter, as you can see, so it's quite long. Here's a Calico, I guess. Calico. Yeah, it's like as long as a plastic knife, and plastic knives usually are like really long to compensate for the lack of weight. So yeah, this is a long girl. Like me. Anyways. Uh Ow! I just nicked myself again. Let's see if I can ever flip this knife without cutting myself. Thankfully it's not bleeding, but yeah, this knife is really sharp. I actually don't know what blade steel it is. I want to say it's S35VN, but I'd have to double check. I will double check for the review. Right now, though, I really like this. It's very comfortable in the hands. These handles are very smooth and comfortable, and with these holes, they actually like a lot of times. I just feel like holes can just be not comfortable. Like for example, these Alpha Beast holes, they're not painful, but I don't find them comfortable. These are really comfortable with how rounded they are, as you can see. Um, and I asked him like, how come you did G10 liners? And he's like, I wanted the colors to be able to pop below, and I'm just like, wow, that's a really cool idea, Jerry. So I'm actually theoretically going to buy one myself. I found one for a good price. It is actually the carbon fiber one. He says that it can feel a little different. Some people claim that they can feel the weight difference, so we'll see. It might be a little lighter because I think G10 is heavier than carbon fiber. Actually, I know that G10 is heavier than carbon fiber. So yeah, personally, I really like this knife. I think that this would be a fantastic EDC. I'm so sorry again to Jake. I will clean your knife. I promise I will clean all the fucking blood off of this knife. I'm sorry for bleeding on your knife all the time. But this is such a cool Balisong. Um, if I do get my own Chimera, which I plan on, I know that Zippy has spacers that will be like able to account for the weight differences, but my spacers are also going to be carbon fiber, so we'll see. It's like carbon fiber just feels so premium, and you're like, ooh, fancy, nice. I don't want to get rid of my carbon fiber spacers, but like maybe for the sake of flipping, balancing, I'll compare if I get that one before I have to return this one. I'll compare the two just to see how the CF feels. On the website, they're both listed as the same weight. The amount of surface that the like it's not a ton of material. It's not very thick G10. It's like, thick enough that it's liners, but it's still not like, I don't know if the weight difference is going to be significant. Even for my scale, that is not very precise. I feel like, yeah, if you want, if you want a Chimera, it is a great carry. I think this is I was talking, yeah, Jerry was like, Balisongs are knives first before they're like flippers, and he's pretty old school. So he has a firm belief of like, some people want features, and he knows that a lot of people don't. But like, I think the Chimera is a really, really cool compromise to a flipper as well as like just utility, and it's not nearly as in the way as the spring latches are. And it contains itself very nicely. Like, I do feel like that sometimes, a latch that's floppy, you will feel get in the way. Like fanning on the bite side, it's just like, ugh. But just push it in. It's really nice. Even spring latches can feel kind of in the way. And the magnet latch on the 87 is like so heavy that I was like, I don't know. It really, really affected the balance, and I really thought that latch was really cool. But alas, it was. I don't know. That is also a great EC knife if you want a latch balance on. It just doesn't flip well with the latch on. It does rollovers really nicely. I do always feel myself a little spooked out by doing ladders, and I love doing ladders, so I don't want to stop doing them. But in general, I think that the Chimera, solid flipper, really solid. If you like long bellies, go for it. Remove the latch if you want, coward. Personally, I will look towards finding a counterweight spacer. Jerry was also like, to be perfectly clear and perfectly honest, spacer kits are not a profitable thing. It's mostly just like for the customer, and at most you'll break even, but like you're not gonna make money on like spacer kits. So maybe I'll ask Hom if he's willing to make me a if he's got any like V1 spacers for carbon fiber that I can ask him for, because he says that you can add the weight in for if you have the latch on, but most people just took the latch off and it didn't take advantage of that. I would though, because I don't know. I think it's one of those things where like, because this latch has so much intentionality, and yes, I will talk about this latch a lot because that's what makes the Chimera special. It's the latch. The latch is what's really cool about it. And the fact that he went out of his way to design a really cool and functional latch that you can just press in, I find that like I want to be able to use this knife for what its like value is in. He took the time and energy to make this latch. And a lot of latches are just kind of and like the 42, it does not flip good, really. It doesn't really flip good without a latch on or with a latch on. So I'm still trying to figure out how to put it back on, just because this shit keeps free spinning over here, like this sex bolt and the screw. So I'm having a hard time removing that. But yeah, I mean the spring latch, I feel like, is another one of those things that like, with the 87, it actually flips quite nicely without a latch on. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll take off the latch, even though I legitimately think the magnet latch is really cool. But I I think that if he went out of his way to make a very small, lightweight latch that doesn't get in the way and it still functions, you want a fucking EDC knife, you want to use your knife things to cut open this box, go for it. You want to be safe, have it in your pocket without it hurting you, go for it. You want it to flip, bam. That's where I'm at. So I need to be at a Band-Aid, but I keep not wanting. I can't pause recordings. I have to, if I stop recording, I have to start a new recording and then stitch it in post, which takes forever. So sorry for just bleeding all the time. But yeah, essentially, I think that's worth it. And if you get a Chimera, I think it's worth keeping the latch on. I think it's worth making it work. I'm definitely going to go out of my way to see if there are any spacers. Like, I will ask Jerry himself, like, do you have carbon fiber spacers that I can slip a tungsten weight in to compensate for the balance? And if he says yes, I will pay him for it. Well, first I have to buy the knife, which I think I'm gonna do. I'm asking him for his payment info. So yeah, this has been a relatively short video. Actually, it's not even that short. But yeah, this is my second impressions. I will eventually do a full review. I'll look up information. I'll compare the carbon fiber one, and I will let you know. Also for like 400 something dollars, this is an incredible value. It's just a really good knife. It's a good flipper, and it's got great utility. It just kind of is like a good price. Compared to the IBAS, which is like 600. Not to say that the IBAS isn't worth it. It's just a lot more expensive to machine. And I don't know. I think this is just a very sleek, creative, unique design. It's still very Hom, but it's also just it's fresh. And I know there was a Chimera V1, but like there's nothing else that's like this. As far as flipping goes, it's not as heavy as other long ballys like the Carlo is. Um, I'll have to compare it to the machine-wise Serif in terms of length, but it might be like comparable to a machine-wise knife in terms of length. But also it's just it feels very different from a machine-wise knife, and it feels very different from a haystack knife. It's a Hom knife. It feels kind of like a Hom knife. Actually, speaking of which, let's see what's in this box. So thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, and you will then be alerted to see what's in the box. It's from Jerry Hom. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, donate money to the coffee, and click the bell. Bye.